Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. Coming up on today's show, you're going to meet Jim Ehret. He's not a golf professional, but he has a big job in golf. What does he do? He's another set of eyes for club members and boards when they are thinking about improving their clubhouses for their members. And some of his clients are big names when it comes to private golf clubs, not only in Philadelphia, but around the country. Jim Ehret, next, here on Inside Golf. The 26th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. Your next golf getaway is in Valley Forge in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Visit valleyforge.org. By the First Tee Greater Philadelphia. The First Tee not only helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit firstteephiladelphia.org. By the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, a community of professionals enhancing the game of golf since 1925. Make sure you thank your golf course superintendent today. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, a digital publication and private business network. Read the current issue free at jerseymanmagazine.com. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia PGA section, the experts in the game and business of golf.
Golf is the great equalizer. For many, this journey is an escape from reality, a chance to be part of a team, a career opportunity. PGA Reach impacts lives through golf by lifting people up, giving them hope, and sending them down an alternate path that they never saw coming. With PGA Reach Philadelphia, as in life and in golf, the most important shot you take is the next one.
Hi, Tony Salucci with the Beacon Group of Companies. If your company has between 50 and 500 employees enrolled in your health insurance plan, there's a really good chance we can reduce your costs significantly and increase the benefits employees receive. How do we do it? We put you together with several thousand employers of a similar size across the country so your company can get amazing buying power. Schedule a conversation with one of our employee benefits specialists today at mybeacongroup.com.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues with Jim Ehret. Jim, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about what Jim does. First of all, your background was in construction and a little bit of design. Now you're a consultant to mainly country clubs around the Philly area. You have a long list, and around the country as well. So summarize, what do you do?
Basically right now, thank you for having me on the show.
Sure.
What I do now is meet with clubs normally before they hire a designer and look at options, budgets, facility evaluations, because like most country clubs or golf clubs, they're always looking to do improvements or have the next amenity. And so I'm on top of where the direction of the market's going. And what makes my background unique is that for 20 years, my construction company, which is no longer, I opened it, I closed it, built 24 country clubs with a lot of them in the Philadelphia market and the state of New Jersey and Delaware. So I'm from the area, and it's I pinch myself.
Right. Now, you have nothing to do with the actual golf course design of
Correct.
18 holes of golf. It's all the other stuff.
Correct.
And that list, I guess for one of a better term, we can call amenities, and what people are looking for now in a country club in 2023 as opposed to maybe 75 years ago, as opposed to maybe just 10 years ago. That list of amenities has grown, hasn't it?
Correct.
Tell us about your involvement and trying to find out what members are looking for when they build and improve the infrastructure of their club.
Great question. Right now, the hotter amenities for whether it's a golf club or country club are performance centers, converting fitness centers to not only fitness but wellness centers, virtual rooms. Then you got to keep up with your infrastructure, the maintenance facilities, which I always term for a club the heart and lung of the club, because you don't see it.
Right.
It's most critical because everyone looks at the grass and the condition of the course, and that's what they normally talk about their club.
They don't
Greens are
see the
great.
boiler room.
Exactly.
They never go near the boiler room, but you have to consider the boiler room.
Correct. So I've been around and been blessed working with Congressional Country Club right now on first one hired to help them take their facility that kind of remind me of Marion before we built Marion's and blow it up as they should and build a facility that's unbelievable with everything with intern housing and with the state-of-the-art sort of equipment and needs that a very nice club should have.
Right. If you could, share with us some of the names of clubs just in the immediate Philadelphia area that you've been involved with.
Yeah, thank you. As the builder, 5 projects at Marion Golf Club, 3 projects at Philadelphia Country Club when they kind of blew up the club in 2001, working with some special people. Philadelphia Cricket Club when they were building the new Militia Hill course. We did the 3 projects, very intense period, 2001, Golf Mills, Sunnybrook, and then clubs across the river in Trenton, Beansbrook, Laurel Creek. So it's been, and then some up in North Jersey, which is a treasure trove of historic, beautiful clubs. Rumson Country Club, it's probably the wealthiest zip code in New Jersey, right across from Wall Street. Navasink, Bruce Springsteen lives right next to the club in Red Bank, New Jersey. So it's been a delightful world being the builder, and that's was our niche. And now taking that knowledge and working in 10 states, helping clubs plan their future growth of what they could do.
Where we're sitting here is at the back deck at Lulu Country Club. I could look right over your right shoulder and see one of the projects that you've completed not that long ago, like last year at Manufacturers Country Club.
Right.
And it's a beautiful new grill room, I guess, is what you would consider it.
Correct.
And we see renderings of it. So would it be safe to say that you're sort of like a liaison between either an architect and or a contractor and the board, the people that want the job to be finished the way they want the job to be finished?
Correct.
Yeah.
Some of the clubs call it owner's rep. I'm not a big fan of that term because there are owner's reps out there that never been a builder. But I would say early on, the most important thing these clubs have to do is to make sure what is communicated to whoever the owners are, whether it's 300 or it's 2 owners that own the club, that their expectations are in line with the budget and the scope of the project. And you also tell them what elements are not being done where they may assume are included in that. And if they want to include it, okay, well then let's adjust the budget. So that process is a little bit of a evolution, and through dialogues, through pictures, through talking about options, then the club can make, or the owners, members can make intelligent decisions.
All right, we'll be back with Jim Ehret to talk more about what he does now for clubs in this new age of golf, not just playing it, but also enjoying the amenities of a club, including a project that he did a few years back. And we had the chance to view it personally here on Inside Golf. The maintenance facility at Marion. I think he calls it the maintenance mahal.
Garage Mahal.
The Garage Mahal.
Garage Mahal.
We'll be back to take a look at what he did at Marion with Jim Ehret here on Inside Golf.
With so many affordable things to do in Montgomery County, PA, go ahead, freak out.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. We're with Jim Ehret. His company is Ehret Club Consulting. He consults golf clubs when they're in the mind of doing some improvements or building, rebuilding, whatever. The last segment ended with me referring to a project that I guess first saw right before the U.S. Open was played at Marion in 2013. You redid their whole maintenance facility, part of which, and anybody who has been to Marion knows exactly what I'm talking about, is underground, right along the 18th hole, the historic 18th hole.
Right.
And it is quite a facility. Tell us about it.
It was a special assignment. It was the third project that my construction company stayed on with Marion for an intense 4-year period. The architect, we worked very well together because we did Sunnybrook and Gulf Mills and some very nice projects together. So we had a good synergy. Marion decided to keep us on. Both Robbie Cox, who, God rest his soul, he got a bad cancer and passed away after the project opened. But we were out there looking at their current facility, and it was a typical maintenance facility where
Little
it
worn.
was functional. It was functional, but it was tired and undersized and had issues. And the challenge we had is you had Cobb's Creek down below, which, you know, is right away you have building, flooding, you got a lot of regulation related to that. You had the 18th hole, and Marion doesn't have a lot of real estate. So both Robbie and I said, well, if they want to expand their facility, there's only one way. And we pointed towards the 18th, what would be, I would say, about 150 yards in front of the regular tee on 18. We got to go there. Well, in order to go there, you only really have a couple options. Go underground, okay, or have it be the same elevation because it was steep down, but have a grass roof. So we both at the same time came up with the concept. It's got to go there.
Was there any reference in terms of other facilities like that you knew of?
No.
So this was an idea that you and Robbie just came up with and had to present to the board at Marion.
Yeah, the building committee, and at that point we had a good, trusted working relationship with them. And
What was their first reaction? Like, what? Oh, really?
They understood it. Robbie did a marvelous job doing a computer image of what it would look like, a rendering. And once they saw the rendering and saw, you know what, when the golfers are playing the course, we're picking up real estate and no one's going to know there's a building below. Now, what it meant is you need a structural steel frame, you have concrete, you have waterproof membrane, then you got to figure out, okay, what grows on a roof? Well, there's drainage, drip irrigation, a sedum, which is a special grass that would grow, or a plant, evergreen, that's low maintenance, doesn't grow a lot.
So how much like soil, et cetera, and grass is there above the roof line?
Well, you have the steel, then you have the concrete, then you have the waterproofing, which is pretty thick, but you got to drain it, insulation board in there, and then from there, a protection board. Then from there, you have stone, small stone, like pieced gravel, and then from there, a special soil, then you have the plants. So the whole system at the end of the day was like this, and we literally had to dynamite the quarry, because you're right next to the quarry hole. So it's all rock. And then they grabbed the whole concept of making a LEED building, which is environmental green construction. So they included, they liked the idea of heated concrete floors. They grabbed the idea of burning their waste oil and their cooking grease to heat the boiler. And it won a national award for green construction.
And this is back like 2010, 11?
2010.
Wow, way ahead of the times.
Yes.
Way ahead of the times.
Yes.
And you're doing, without getting into too much detail, a similar maintenance facility, I don't know how similar, maybe not underground like Marion, at Congressional. They're going to redo their thing, and is it going to be green oriented as well?
Well, it'll be very...
Not to the extent that Marion was.
No, not really. I think Marion, with the grass roof, kind of cemented, hey, we can go in the lead direction easily. Right. Congressional is more a club that will, they want make sure they plan for future growth. They want to have a first-class facility. They want to house 10 people in the building, which brings all these building codes into effect. But it makes sense. It's their intern. It's almost like a school
right.
that prospective superintendents wants to go. And so yes, and that we are kind of at the design stage, 35% complete, updated budget. Now they're presenting it to the members, which you don't know if they're going to do this or do this.
They're going to do it. They're going to do it, sure. They're thinking not next week, they're thinking 10 years from now, what
Right.
are we going to need? And based on what's happened in Marion in what, now almost 15 years, it's a pretty good idea.
And they interviewed the same architect in Marion, and they interviewed one other architect I worked with, and they picked the one from Marion, Blackney Hayes, which is where Robbie Cox used to work for.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back with Jim. We'll take a break and have our teed-off panel next here on Inside Golf.
Right, so it just depends on how long they last.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues at beautiful Lulu. We're on the back deck with our panel for Teed Off. The panel includes Lulu's ambassador for golf. He is known all around the area, Mr. Jim Sullivan. Sully?
Thank you for having me, Harry.
Good to see you.
Great to be here.
Always a pleasure. This gentleman here is Brad Sanders. He is the assistant professional at Sunnybrook Golf Club. Brad, thanks for coming back. And Oscar Mestry from Overbrook. More importantly, he's the big cheese when it comes to the Golf Association of Philadelphia, now in his third year as the president. You know, you're the second oldest guy on the panel here, and fashion in golf has really evolved, okay? It's become very popular, especially to manufacturers, you know, the Johnny O's of the world, the Peter Millars of the world. It seems like they're turning out, sending emails. You probably get them all the time, right? But the trend sometimes to some old school guys, me, not you necessarily, it's like, really? You know, and it goes beyond just what they're wearing, but how they're wearing.
Sure.
You know, and clubs probably have some stricter dress codes today than they used to, good or bad.
Well, I think there's not a single answer, right? I mean, I think think about it, from our standpoint in the Golf Association of Philadelphia, one of our missions is to grow the game. Growing the game is about introducing young people to the game. Young people's idea of fashion is completely different than ours. Young people's idea of traditions is completely different than ours. So it's a delicate balance. You're trying to make it as open and not stodgy as possible while maintaining tradition.
Certain tradition.
So I think there's certain clubs that are never going to go in the direction of the hoodies on the golf course, as we maybe discussed before we started. But there's a lot of them that are relaxing their dress code in order to get people to adopt the game, to learn the game, and then hopefully grow the game. So I think it's here. I think there's going to be, you know, bifurcation in dress codes. I think we're going to see that going forward. I think there's, you know, just think about it. Years ago, would you have seen a blow-up animal at the end of the range? And that was to get kids to hit towards a target. The first time I saw that, I was like, what is going on?
Yeah. Am I in an amusement
I'm in
park
an amusement
or a
park.
golf course? Yeah.
But I see the value of that, right? Get kids to have fun, to move forward into the game.
Of course, the 18th hole on a mini golf course always had an animal ready to swallow your ball.
It always had it.
What are you going to do? Trends. Merchandise is a big part of off-the-course stuff in golf, right? And manufacturers are kind of seizing on that with current trends of non-golfers, knowing that, hey, even some of those golfers that come in want to wear certain hoodies or anything. But how about the way they wear them? Like, you know, do you have to tuck in I saw a guy one time be told, hey, you got to tuck your shirt in, okay? Some courses still have, you know, long pants in August as opposed to short pants. Not many, but there are some. Collared shirts. Are these trends going to eventually die out, do you think? Or will, like Oscar says, some of the old school stuff is here to stay too?
I think some of the trends are going to be trends, right? So it just depends on how long they last. And then obviously different courses are going to implement different rules. That's going to be the biggest thing. But I mean, growing the game, it's sometimes like you kind of have to look at like some kids wear the jerseys because they're in PGA Junior League.
Right.
So it's just like that's not really a trend, but it's something that's different that might not have been kind of a traditionalist idea earlier. So it's just kind of going with the times and just kind of everything's evolving, every club's evolving. So it's just like clothing is going to be evolved at some point.
Do you think, Sully, that growing the game is important? But are some people turned off by the fact that, hey, if I want to walk around with my shirt out, I mean, we have a U.S. senator who wanted to show up in shorts and everything. They changed the dress code for senates. That's a whole other topic. But can you see that happen in golf where they're going to say, hey, if enough of these people say, hey, I'm going to play with my shirt or I'm out or I'm going home?
So it's a push and pull, right? If you come to Lulu today, I would say Lulu's on the casual side of those rules, but expectation is collared shirt, golf appropriate shorts or pants, and if you're wearing a hat, wear it forwards. I don't think you're getting a letter if you violate one of those. I think you might have the GM or somebody ask you to correct it, and it's not the end of the world. Whereas there's places on a different end of the or a higher end of the spectrum that won't let you out of the car like that. And there's places that would be happy just to have you show up and play golf and kind of wear what you want.
Regardless.
And I think it's always been that way. If you look at pictures of guys playing golf in the 50s, for the US Open, they're wearing a tie. Maybe not the coat, but they were wearing a coat in the 30s, and it's evolved a long way since then. So do you change the rules to accommodate that lowest denominator? I don't like that. As a rule, I'm an old stodgy, super young guy, but old stodgy in that respect. Do you tell I've got a 17-year-old son that's getting into golf. Do I tell him certain things that I think are appropriate? He likes to dress nice. So my daughters will actually crack up at me being on a fashion conversation panel because I'm the opposite of that. But, that push and pull, I like to think of it as, let's pull them into kind of what the expectations are for golf, which is decorum is a big part of it. It's certainly part of it. So, it's a wide spectrum, and it's going to be a constant push and pull.
Well, I can safely say you are leading by example, okay? And people see you and, your son who's getting into the game, hey, he knows, hey, Dad looks pretty sharp. I want to look sharp too. Because, as one of my sons once said, 98% of it, Oscar, is how you look. Now, I may violate that rule, but you look marvelous, by the way. You look marvelous.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you, gents. We'll be back. More of Inside Golf coming up in just a moment. Designed by Donald Ross, Lulu Country Club is one of the premier private golf courses in Montgomery County. This classic 18-hole course boasts a new state-of-the-art clubhouse with many amenities for members to enjoy. Members are invited to play in events, tournaments, and enjoy guest privileges. For more information, contact membership at lulucc.com.
The Golf Association of Philadelphia. Founded in 1897, GAP is the nation's oldest regional or state golf association. We serve amateur golf in Eastern PA, Southern New Jersey, and all of Delaware. GAP welcomes all golfers, junior or senior, male or female, public or private. Join the Golf Association of Philadelphia today. Our mission is always to preserve, protect, and promote the great game of golf. Before you tee it up, look us up. Visit gapgolf.org to find out more.
We're back with Jim Ehret. We're going to wrap it up and talk about, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, golf, on the plus side, experienced a boom, and it's still continuing today. Is it going to last, do you think, based on what you're seeing on your end of the stick?
I think it will continue as long as the economy is okay to good. If there's a correction in the economy, golf will be one of the things that people will consider they can't afford, which is reality. But look how bad it was in '07 and how clubs, some clubs closed down and other clubs
lowered their, initiation fees and things like that, trying to get people in the door. Now they got waiting lists.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to refer, and this will be the last thing we talk about, a recent article in Golf Digest talked about a series of clubs, and you're familiar because you spend a lot of time in Florida, down around the Jupiter area, Some of them have been there for a while, but you're working on a new facility, multiple golf courses, 3 of them. Apogee, it looks like this is like the next step up when it comes to elite country club membership at Apogee. It's some project, isn't it?
Right, it's in Golf Digest September article. 6 new clubs, most of them have multiple courses.
Wow.
Very affluent area. A lot of people from the Mid-Atlantic are moving down there. It's one of the reasons why I moved down there, because I realized that it was a pinnacle of very nice golf clubs, and work in both markets, Mid-Atlantic and Southeast. Also you have traditional clubs that have been there a long time, like Seminole, which has a huge history.
Lost Tree, you said you're doing...
I'm doing some
They
consulting
need a
work at
beach
Lost
club
Tree.
at Lost Tree. Huh? Forget about 18 holes of golf.
Yeah.
They want to experience the ocean. Jim, we could spend a lot of time with you, okay?
Thank
And
you.
you don't have the time, and unfortunately we've run out of time today. That's it for Inside Golf. Hope you enjoyed our discussion on what Jim Ehret does today when it comes to country clubs and how they are expanding and their needs are expanding with it. We'll see you next week on Inside Golf. The 26th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. Your next golf getaway is in Valley Forge in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Visit valleyforge.org. By the First Tee Greater Philadelphia. The First Tee not only helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit firstteephiladelphia.org. By the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, a community of professionals enhancing the game of golf since 1925. Make sure you thank your golf course superintendent today. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, a digital publication and private business network. Read the current issue free at jerseymanmagazine.com. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia PGA Section, the experts in the game and business of golf.